Hello, Sister Ella here, Salesian Sisters. The 31st of January, the last day of January, is the feast of Saint John Bosco. You may have heard Don Bosco. Well, in Italy, where he came from, a priest is called Don, the way we call a priest father, and Bosco means wood. So if Don Bosco had lived here, he would have been Father Wood. Don Bosco had a very, very tough upbringing because his daddy died when John Bosco was only 2 years of age, leaving his good mother, who was a wonderful woman, leaving her to look after her mother-in-law, her stepson, and her own 2 young boys. So Don Bosco, only 2 years of age, and Joseph just a couple of years older than he was. Very, very, very hard life. And you know, Don Bosco was born the year Napoleon was defeated. So they had all the Napoleonic wars and the devastation in the countryside. People were very, very, very poor. The land had been used by soldiers tramping over it, and it was just a terrible time. And Mama Margaret, she couldn't afford to send her sons to school. So although Don Bosco, as a little boy and a man was of superior intelligence, extremely intelligent person, but didn't have schooling, until a priest who was very impressed with the young lad, and he taught him how to read and taught him basics of Latin and helped him enormously, but then he died. Anyway, eventually, when Don Bosco was almost 14, he went to school. Now he was older, he was bigger, and he was poorer than all the other lads, and they took it out on him. But he was also much more intelligent, and so he raced ahead, and he did very, very well and caught up. And he had to leave home because his own home was too far in the country to be able to attend school. So he had to live with various people. But he learned from them. And when he lived with a tailor, he learned how to sew. And when he lived with a cobbler, he learned how to mend shoes. And he even lived in a cafe, so I suppose he learned how to cook. But he had to sleep in the old fireplace. And I've actually seen it, where he had to bed down at night. He had a really tough life, which prepared him for what he had to do. But when he was 9 years of age and still at home, he had a dream which influenced the whole of his life, and in various ways was repeated throughout his life. So it wasn't just a dream, it was like a vision. And he saw all these wild animals. Well, first of all, he saw boys all fighting each other, and he was always, ready for a rough and tumble, and he was going to throw himself into this. And then this beautiful lady came and said, "Not by blows, but by kindness you will win them." And then the scene changed. There were all these wild animals, and the lady encouraged him to go amongst them, and he was scared. He was only a wee boy of 9, and Our Lady went with him, and they changed into lambs, and she explained to him that was his mission. So he had this in his head, that his mission was to, through kindness, he had to transform rough, wild, uneducated lads. And that is what he did. His great desire was to be a priest. And he did become a priest, and his mother had the joy of even working with him, he said, look, Mother, I can't live in this wild place, this awful part of Turin, which had a very bad name. I can't live there as a priest by myself. And she went as far as to sell her wedding trousseau and walked with Don Bosco, with that young priest, and walked from where they lived into the big city, and she worked alongside him and worked with him. And he worked with these lads, and he helped he helped those who showed promise, and he helped those who were perhaps in dangerous situations, and he looked after apprentices, and he did all he could for the young people of that city of Turin. And the boys who worked with him and lived with him and saw how he worked, they joined him. He built his Salesians on schoolboys.